According to Wikipedia, Google Maps is a web mapping platform that provides high-quality satellite images, detailed maps, and interactive street panoramas. But have you ever wondered that not everything captured by its cameras was meant for public viewing? Today, I'll show you some of the strangest, mysterious, weird, and even downright disturbing things ever spotted on Google Maps. The Roman cat. And if you're even a little familiar with the unusual things found on Google Maps, then you've probably heard of this cat. Its photo was taken near one of the cat shelters in Rome and was first found and posted on Reddit by a user named Velocity over 6 years ago. You can find the coordinates of this place in the comments, but the Roman cat is no longer there, which is actually a bit sad. Military bases and secret government facilities. February 2005 was a big deal for a lot of people, as it was when Google Maps became publicly available for the first time. While some users immediately set about planning the best travel routes or unsuccessfully trying to find their own homes on the map, others were more interested in military sites of various countries. At the moment, all of them are hidden, but in the past, Google clearly didn't care much about the problems of secret government facilities. So for a while, they were freely available for viewing, or maybe someone at the company just didn't think about it. UFOs. It's funny how often UFOs seem to appear on Google Maps despite their mysterious nature. Most often, these are various glares and reflections in the camera, sometimes rather strange structures like this abandoned water tower in Romania, and in some cases, quite obvious Photoshop. But what if not all such cases are fabricated or have a logical explanation? Some sightings really make you wonder if we are truly alone on our planet. A two-legged cat. This Canadian two-legged cat looks much weirder than the Roman one, but only at first glance. As much as I'd like to tell you that Google employees managed to capture a new cat breed, the solution to this mystery is much simpler. It's just a case of using a graphics editor, like Photoshop. Perhaps it's even for the best. And before we move on to the next level of the iceberg, I'd like to quickly ask you to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this kind of content and would like to see more. Thank you. Whales. With Google Maps, you can see not only all kinds of cats and dogs, but even animals as large as whales. And it's all because of their enormous size, which allows these animals to be seen in satellite images. In fact, you can find quite a lot of such images, and it's a very amusing thing in my opinion. Pigeon People. Somehow, users of a Japanese forum found out that Google Maps employees would soon be driving down a certain street in Tokyo to take photos for their map. I think the rest of this story doesn't even need an explanation. But why pigeons? It was probably a random choice, but the photos turned out to be really funny. North Korea. And if you've ever dreamed of visiting North Korea, even if it's just through Google Maps, you're in for a real disappointment. All you'll find here, besides the extremely depressing views, are the names of some streets and a few unsuccessful attempts to simulate the work of panoramic cameras that allow you to look around. Virtually no shops, hotels, cinemas, or any other public establishments. No numbers on these numerous dilapidated houses in the very center of Korea. Some people say that satellite images can reveal interesting things like nuclear test sites or secret government facilities, but it's quite difficult to see anything here. Just imagine what it's like to actually live in North Korea. Do you think you could handle it? The Moon and Mars. And if you want to see something even more gray and desolate than North Korea, Google can help you with that too, as their maps have long gone beyond our planet and even the solar system. In 2009, users around the world were able to take a detailed look at the mysterious lunar seas and deep Martian craters right on their computers. And sometimes these images reveal things that shouldn't be there at all, but that's a whole different story. Black and white spots. As we've already seen, if something needs to be hidden on Google Maps, it's usually just blurred out. But what about the objects behind those spots? Black and white, small and incredibly large, in cities and far from civilization. They all share one question: what is behind them? From top secret government facilities to crashed giant UFOs that can't be dismantled or moved. Maybe in the future, someone will uncover this secret, but so far it hasn't happened. Rainbow planes. And if you're lucky enough to accidentally come across moving airplanes, they'll most likely be painted in rainbow colors. This effect is quite simple to explain. Satellite cameras quickly take several shots with different color filters. The delay between them is small, but for a fast-moving plane, this time is enough for the filters not to overlap each other. That's why we see them all separately and not as a single image. Crime by the water. This scene by the water really looks like the traces of a recent crime, but since my video is not in the true crime genre, there's of course a logical explanation for everything. It was found by Reddit users who carefully examined this place on Google Maps. They concluded that the images show an ordinary dog that had just come out of the water and ran up to its owner, leaving a wet trail behind. The story continued when the dog's owner came forward and gave an interview to a newspaper, fully confirming the user's guesses. But I must say that as a crime scene, this place looks quite convincing. Masked people. Almost nothing is known about this photo of people in masks taken somewhere in northern Mexico. It's possible that they somehow found out that a Google Maps car would be passing by at a certain time and just decided to joke around. Some people believe that these are children dressed up for some celebration and accidentally ended up in the photos. In any case, we will probably never know the truth. The ghost ship. In 2020, a clip supposedly showing a sunken ship at a dock in Japan quickly started spreading on TikTok. I hope no one needs an explanation as to why this is not the Titanic. But then, what ship is this? The search for the answer to this question has been taken up by a really large number of users, including those on Reddit. One of them found out that a ship, which looks very similar to the sunken one, often stopped at this pier. He managed to find out its number and contact the owners, who confirmed that such a ship exists and is still in service. But then what was sunk there? The answer was given by Google Maps employees, who explained that it was indeed the same ship, but due to an error with overlaying photos from different dates, it appears to be on the bottom. In short, it's just an illusion. Creature on the balcony. This humanoid creature was spotted on one of the countless panoramic views of French streets in Google Maps, and immediately sparked great interest among internet users. Many people were puzzled and argued about who it could be, especially considering the creature's unnatural pose, which certainly couldn't belong to a living being. It turned out to be just an unusual statue that someone had placed on their balcony. And also, Google completely blurred it for some reason, which doesn't really look like automatic censorship. Crabzilla. This photo of a giant crab, allegedly captured by a Google Maps satellite, was published on the personal blog of a man named Quentin Winter. He also described how he personally saw it and provided numerous eyewitness stories. Soon it became known that the photo was taken from the Bing search engine, and the monster crab was added using a graphic editing software. Quentin was forced to reveal the truth by the fact that too many people believed in this creature. Baghdad's Red Lake. In 2007, satellite images from Iraq revealed a strange lake colored in a blood-red hue. This phenomenon immediately caught the attention of many people who started proposing various theories, from blood drained from a nearby slaughterhouse to industrial pollution. However, it soon became clear that the lake got this color due to its abnormal salinity and heat, which caused a special chemical reaction. And this is far from the only such example. Angels. Back in 2011, a very unusual phenomenon could be observed over a highway in Switzerland, though only in Google Maps. Some people considered these photos good evidence of the existence of angels, while others saw a demon as well. In any case, the figures turned out to be a small defect in the camera lens, but some people still believe the angel version is correct. This concludes another level of our iceberg, but before we move on to its darker part, I ask you to subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Now let's continue its exploration. Kazakhstan Pentagram. And if you ever wanted to see Kazakhstan from a bird's eye perspective, you might have come across a star clearly resembling a popular occult symbol. At first glance, it might seem that the Kazakhs are trying to summon someone into our world in this way, but the real explanation is much more boring. It's just an ordinary old park shaped like a Soviet star, which was commonly used wherever possible in the past. The Soviet Union collapsed long ago, but the star that reminds us of it is still there. Ghost Girl. This panoramic photo, taken at a cemetery somewhere in Texas, shows a very pale girl cautiously peeking out from behind a tree. Given the atmosphere of this place and the unnatural gray color of her skin, it is not surprising that many people believed in the existence of ghosts. And among the tombstones, you can see a mysterious figure in a cloak, most often taken for death itself. The mystery was solved when a person who took the photos unexpectedly appeared in the comments under a YouTube video about this place. He explained that his daughter is hiding behind the tree, and he and his wife are on the other side of the panorama. It seemed that the mystery was solved, but there is still one question. What is that figure among the tombstones? Man pointing a gun at the camera. Google camera trips through various cities don't always go as smoothly as it might seem at first glance. Not all neighborhoods are equally friendly to guests, which is perfectly illustrated in one of Detroit's panoramas. A group of 5 people, resting near one of the houses, notices a car with a camera passing by them. In the next photo, you can clearly see how one of them, a man in shorts, is aiming in its direction. In short, it's really worth being more careful in some places. Kiss Island. There is one interesting natural object in Sudan, the essence of which can only be seen from a bird's eye view or through Google Maps. The thing is that the hill itself, the sand, and the trees around it create the effect of giant lips that look quite realistic. How and when this place appeared is unknown, but locals believe it's intended to summon rains, which are extremely needed in these areas. Face in the clay. And this is another natural object, this time from Canada, that very much resembles the head of a Native American. If you look closely, you can even see something like headphones, but it's just a road to an oil rig. If you look around the area, you can easily find a couple more similar heads, so it's just an interesting optical illusion. A dog chasing a Google car. Sometimes you can see entire funny scenes in Google Maps, like this panorama from Japan. In one of the photos, we see a small dog that notices a passing car with a camera. In all the other shots from this place, it's desperately trying to catch up with the Google car, but unsuccessfully. At some point, the dog gets tired and gives up, so soon we lose sight of it. That's such a funny incident. Ice ship. Quite by accident, something very large was discovered among the icebergs between New Zealand and Antarctica, looking very much like a real ship but completely frozen. This discovery immediately sparked a wave of controversy about its origin, from conspiracy theories about secret naval programs to a crashed alien ship. There is no evidence in favor of either theory, but for me personally, it all looks like an ordinary optical illusion. Ghosts. It's hard to believe, but objects that look very much like ghosts are quite common in Google Maps. As we've already seen with the ghost girl example, in most cases there is some logical explanation behind these phenomena. Sometimes such effects can be caused by glare, reflections, or even camera defects, and sometimes by deliberately staged hoaxes. Nevertheless, there are indeed many such observations, and not all of them have been thoroughly examined, and some things we might not have even noticed. Hoaxes or not, in any case, it's really interesting. Blonde tourists' legs. At one time, this creepy photo raised a lot of questions, as here we see a strange woman with an extremely unnatural leg structure. The first thing that comes to mind is aliens, especially considering the pyramid in the background. However, this is an ordinary optical illusion caused by an unfortunate camera delay that occurred at the moment when the woman was already taking a step to the side, which distorted her figure. So, once again, no aliens as you can see. Murder with a pickaxe. And this is another scene staged specifically for Google cameras, which took place in the city of Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. The street panorama supposedly captured a man attacking another with a pickaxe handle. Fortunately, it was just an improvised hoax, which was later confirmed by the participants themselves, who are very much alive. The men noticed the approaching Google car in time, grabbed the first thing that came to hand, and did exactly what came to their minds at that moment. The story continued when someone saw these events on online maps and, appreciating their acting skills, contacted the police. This led to no consequences, as they immediately recognized a joke. Oke Bay Creature. In a New Zealand bay called Oke, a long trail on the water was accidentally discovered, looking as if it was left by some kind of large underwater monster. According to local beliefs, it belongs to a legendary snake-like creature that lives in deep lakes, rivers, or seas. However, this case can easily be explained by an ordinary trail from a high-speed motorboat, which can be seen nearby. It would be very interesting if such a snake really existed. Broken face. This lonely part of a huge stone face was discovered by a Google Maps team traveling through the Netherlands. How it got there, who made it, whether it has other parts or not, there are no answers to these questions. Most likely the face is an art object, but no clues about the true nature were found nearby. Escaped prisoner. Not far from Johannesburg in the Republic of South Africa, you can stumble upon a man in an orange uniform looking very much like an escaped convict. However, there are no prisons in the vicinity, and in some photos he's chatting with someone. Of course, unless this prisoner walked dozens of kilometers on foot, and these are not his accomplices. If you look closely, you can see the abbreviation CWF on the man's jacket, which stands for a local mining company, so he's just a regular worker. Plane in the forest. Viewing the landscapes of Oregon from a bird's eye view, you might notice an airplane hidden among the trees, and the first thing that comes to mind is that it crashed and its wreckage is overgrown with trees. However, the plane seems to be completely intact, and it would definitely have been dismantled in the case of a crash. Actually, there's no mystery here, as it belongs to a man named Bruce Campbell, who bought it from a Greek airline and ordered delivery to his home, as crazy as it sounds. Now the plane serves as a country house with all the amenities, including electricity and even hot water. The owner also lets tourists in, so there are whole reviews on Google Maps dedicated to this plane. And before we move on to the two deepest levels of the Google Maps iceberg, I would ask you to like this video and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything new. Thank you very much. Azura Beebeejaun. And if you think that you see someone's body on this street view, it's not like that at all. Or, not exactly. In fact, it's a 9-year-old girl from England named Azura who was playing with her friends and at some point decided to pretend that she had fainted to scare them a little. At that very moment, a Google car drove by and captured her, thanks to which she ended up on the maps. As it often happens in such cases, people who came across the photos reported it to the police, whose officers quickly found Azura, who had briefly become famous. She told the newspapers about this funny story, but Google still decided to blur her out just in case. Sunken cars with bodies. Sometimes you can find some really disturbing things on Google Maps, like in these two cases. The first one is from Michigan, where you could clearly see a sunken car in something like a pool near a suburban house. And all that time, a person who went missing back in 2006 was right there on the front seat. Although the car wasn't initially found on the maps, a reminder of this event remained there for some time. The second case happened in 1997, when a man similarly went missing after a party in Florida. But this time, the car and the body inside were found only by chance and with the help of Google Maps more than 22 years later. New Baltimore Ghost Town. This creepy ghost town was once available for viewing on the street view of New Baltimore. Roads, houses, trees, and even people suddenly took on a very strange and distorted appearance. Perhaps this is exactly what would happen if the Pentagram in Kazakhstan actually worked, but the explanation is much more boring. As you probably guessed, this effect was caused by another Google Maps glitch, just more serious than usual. In any case, this bug was fixed back in October 2015, so now you can see such a town only in Silent Hill. Injured cow. And this street view captures a cow that looks like it's really unwell. Many people assume that it was hit by a car, but things might not be as bad as it seems. Most likely the cow just slipped. As in one of the previous photos, we can see it standing calmly in the same place. This time everything turned out fine, but caution on the road is never a bad thing. The end of the world. This sign, located in the Mojave Desert in California, definitely marks the end of the road, beyond which begins a kind of wild territory, or maybe even the territory of Caesar's legion. In any case, someone decided to joke and painted the word hell next to it, implying that our world also ends here. It's a very simple detail, but at the same time quite interesting. Malaysian Plane. At one time, many people believed that this satellite image of the Cambodian jungle captured the wreckage of a passenger plane that went missing in 2014. However, it was not there in images from other satellites. A search helicopter even flew to the presumed crash site, but also found nothing. The most logical explanation is that some other plane got into the shot, flying in the area at the very moment when the satellite took the photo. In any case, the disappearance of the Boeing is still a big mystery. Man jumps in Google car. As crazy as it sounds, there is a whole series of photos where people are trying to jump right into a Google car. The most famous of them is this smiling man, and I have to say, he looks quite creepy. The photo was taken on the streets of Brazil, but nothing else is known about this case, and I don't even know whether it's funny or disturbing. Rua Prefito Osmar Cunha. This street in Brazil looks just like thousands of others, nothing out of the ordinary at first glance. However, if you're unlucky enough to accidentally stumble upon a particular spot on the map of this place, you'll end up in some kind of ghostly parallel world, but this time even more creepy. If that's not enough for you, there's also a humanoid figure hiding in the pitch-black darkness. It's clear that this is just one of many unusual glitches in Google Maps, but I personally wouldn't want to stumble upon something like this, especially at night. And that was the end of our iceberg of the strangest and most disturbing things on Google Maps. It was created by a Reddit user named Samedius, and you can find the original at the link in the description. I've changed it a bit, so don't be surprised if you find entries in his iceberg that I didn't have. Thanks for watching this video to the end.